Presented by Listen Headlines. Latest financial news from trusted sources.
Wall Street Journal Markets. October 2nd, 7 o'clock America, New York. Countdown starts on Chinese company delistings after U.S.-China audit fight. U.S. regulators gear up for a 3-year countdown that will force many Chinese companies to leave American stock exchanges, after a long impasse between Washington and Beijing over access to the company's audit records.
New York Times Business. October 2nd, 6:22 America, New York, UK aims to ease trucker shortage with visas into 2022. The decision extended an earlier move to offer 3-month visas to foreign drivers, and came as the government also called on military drivers to help resolve a fuel distribution crisis. A fuel delivery in Herrman, England, on Thursday.
Wall Street Journal Markets. October 2nd, 5:30 America, New York. Bull markets usually don't end with a bang. The implication: stock investors shouldn't try to pick a specific time when it makes sense to get out of the market.
New York Times Business. October 2nd, 5 o'clock America, New York. Tallying the cost of growing older. Researchers have been studying how much care American adults will require as they age, and for how long. Renee Turner, 37, has moved in with her grandmother, Nancy Canoe, 92, who lives in Rochester, Mich. And has heart failure. New York Times Business. October 2nd, 5 o'clock America, New York. An erotica pioneer goes from hero to villain for dozens of authors. In the constantly evolving romance landscape, Blushing Books has long occupied a specific niche, spanking erotica. Now some of its most successful writers just want their books back. New York Times Business. October 2nd, 5 o'clock America, New York. Will TikTok make you buy it? Give any social media platform long enough, and it turns into a mall.
Naked Capitalism. October 2nd, 4:35 America, New York. Incomes got chewed up by inflation. Americans spent heroically on goods, but not on services. Eviction moratoriums and forbearance implicated. Consumers have made big change to their spending patterns in response to inflation.
New York Times Business. October 2nd, 3 o'clock America, New York. They want to hand your kid a debit card. What do? Startups large and small are offering child-friendly debit cards that allow parents to set up guardrails. Picking one depends on your priorities.
Armstrong Economics. October 2nd, 007 America, New York. I never knew her. Thank God. Comment. Well, guess you didn't know Katie Couric. She has trashed everyone she ever knew. What a toxic person. Je answer. Obviously she is such a perfect person without the tiniest flaw.
Global Economy. October 2nd, 0 America, New York. Keir Starmer's clear break with the Jeremy Corbyn era. Analysis on Labour's annual jamboree and whether its leader has met expectations.
Daily FX Market News. October 2nd, 0 America, New York. Australian dollar Q4 fundamental forecast. AUD, USD has hurdles that could be overcome. The Australian dollar made a new low for the year in the third quarter as external factors hampered the outlook. Will the risk environment continue to weigh the AUD, USD down?
New York Times Business. October 1st, 2118 America, New York. American, Alaska Airlines and JetBlue add vaccine mandates for workers. American said the move was necessary in light of President Biden's move to require vaccinations against the coronavirus for employees of government contractors. American Airlines told employees that its move was necessary because of its status as a government contractor.
Global Economy. October 1st, 2031 America, New York. Singaporeans take fright at relaxation of COVID restrictions. Reopening the city-state has stoked a surge in new cases and panic among anxious residents.
Wall Street Journal Markets. October 1st, 1926 America, New York. Facebook, Warby Parker, Merck. Stocks that defined the week. Here are 7 major companies whose stocks moved on the week's news.
New York Times Business. October 1st, 1906 America, New York. FDA panel to weigh Pfizer shots for children. Boosters for Moderna and Johnson & Johnson recipients. The timing of the meetings later this month suggests that the agency plans to move quickly to decide both issues. Pfizer-BioNTech's vaccine has already been authorized for children 12 to 15 on an emergency basis, and is fully approved for those 16 and older. New York Times Business. October 1. 1838 America New York, Rivian, electric vehicle startup, unveils large losses in IPO filing. The company, which is backed by Amazon and Ford, is seeking to sell shares in one of the biggest initial public offerings of the year. Rivian's factory in Normal, Ill. Wall Street Journal U.S. Business. October 1. 1829 America New York, Aussie media to cease operations amid tumult. The digital media startup faced high-profile defections and pullback from some major advertisers after a New York Times article raised questions about its business practices. New York Times Business. October 1. 1826 America New York, Facebook struggles to quell uproar over Instagram's effect on teens. The social network has been all hands on deck as it grapples with revelations that it knew the harmful effects its Instagram photo-sharing app was having on teenagers. New York Times Business. October 1. 1820 America New York, Disney World's 50th anniversary celebration begins. The company hopes the 18-month extravaganza will bring hundreds of millions of dollars to it and the Orlando economy, both of which are still trying to recover from the pandemic. Disney World on October. New York Times Business. October 1. 1820 America New York, US and Europe announce new trade cooperation, but disputes linger. A new trade and technology partnership aims to counter China, but tensions over issues like metal tariffs remain. US and European officials met in Pittsburgh this week for the inaugural meeting of the Trade and Technology Council.
Daily FX Market News. October 1, 1800 America New York, Equities Q4 Fundamental Forecast, short-term uncertainties but longer-term fortunes. Throughout the third quarter, there had been somewhat of a reversal in the reflation trade as concerns over the peak in the global growth lingered, alongside the continued spread of the Delta variant.
Wall Street Journal U.S. Business. October 1, 1752 America New York, Pricewaterhouse says most U.S. staffers can now live anywhere. The accounting and consulting firm says thousands of consultants, auditors and others can opt to do their jobs largely from home, as the COVID-19 pandemic changes the contours of work.